drinking from a fire hose. You get like a lot of information all at once, and you need to kind of compartmentalize it. One of the things that I've always told my team members and my coaching clients is when you go to like a big Keller Williams event, go there with a focus of taking like 3 things away tops. Don't try and run around and do everything, and don't try and run around and get this all up. Time blocking is going to be your number 1 best friend. And number 2 is going to just be, I want to focus. What is your focus? Where do you want to see your business? And, you know, Sandy, maybe it's launch your business right now.
Yeah.
And, okay, so, okay.
PJ, so I can't push to Facebook Live. I think it's because we're both
got it.
post. You're good?
I just did it on my iPad over here, so I got both going on my personal.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, we'll probably have to be careful about 2 people being logged into the main account because it won't push to Facebook Live anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I did it yesterday and it dropped off, and I know Rachel was having issues with it. So I'm running 2 screens. Technology is fascinating. We'll figure it out. Don't worry about it though.
Awesome.
But yeah, Sandy, I mean, like a lot of it's just kind of focusing on what, you know, you need to focus on right now in the moment. Like I said, time blocking is going to be your best friend. One of the things I was talking with earlier, and then we'll jump into the book, Profit First, is we were talking about, you know, what is the biggest thing that's bothering you in your business right now? And so a lot of times the big thing that really is upsetting a lot of people, at least in our field, or maybe not upsetting, but it is just being a challenge, is around, you know, command. And so, you know, we talked on my team, and I was like, listen, guys, just go ahead and time block 30 minutes every single day, or Monday through Friday, 30 minutes, and just go on and play with it and do something different with it. So, but Sandy, you can always call me or whatever you need. So anyways, we're going to jump into Profit First today, guys. If you haven't picked this book up yet, it's a great, short, very, very easy read. And it's, as we were talking about yesterday, just the different ways that we look at how we make money and what we do with money. And so I see some people jumping on Facebook. And so, guys, if you have any questions, go ahead and comment right down in the lower left-hand corner. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys may have. Yet we're going to talk about today, and as you guys know, this is a real estate call, yet it's not just about real estate. This book was not designed just for real estate agents in mind. It's designed in how you can live a more profitable and more abundant lifestyle. And so a lot of the things that we're going to kind of touch upon today in the first chapter, and the first chapter is called Your Business is an Out of Control Cash-Eating Monster, and talk about a lot of the pitfalls that people have when they're going ahead and starting their own business. Okay, sorry. CC, will you just monitor the questions down there for me? I saw some just pop up, so thank you. So let's just talk about business in general. And guys, those of you that don't run your own business or own your own business, it's good for you to understand and have a business sense. So the first thing that I want to just tackle before we jump into the content of the book is, are you using a balance sheet? Are you using an income statement? And are you using a P&L? One thing that Gary Keller did at the start of 2019 is, at all of the Keller Williams events that we go to, we see these people get paraded up on stage and they're like, I sold 2,000 houses last year. Awesome. Great. You know, I made, $2 million in gross commission income last year. Awesome. Great. Oh yeah, by the way, these were my expenses. I was paying for this. And as a result, after taxes, I made $23,000. Okay. And I think I know something about speaking to this, because when I first started a team, my first year, I made $23,000. And I was like, what the heck is this? This is stupid. I had done one of the best years I'd ever done in my sales, and I hadn't made any money. And so we want to make sure that you guys have heard the term work smarter, not harder. And we want to make sure that we're understanding where money goes and when we need to spend money, when we don't need to spend money. A lot of you guys, Keller Williams people on here, or real estate people on here, are familiar with the 30-30-40 model. And I know we talked a little bit about this yesterday. That's how you guys want to excel. Like, let's not even talk about business for a second. Let's just talk about you and your personal life. right? What do you want to do? Where do you want to get in your personal life? What do you want to buy next year for your kids? What do you want to buy for yourself? You need a new vehicle, a new house. You want to go on a really nice vacation. I was having a conversation with a friend last night. I'm not a big vacation person, okay? I take one vacation a year. I go to Cape Cod because that's my happy place. That's where I went as a kid, and that's it. I don't do anything crazy. And my friend was talking about it'd be awesome to go on an African safari. And I was like, what does that even cost? You know, like I have no clue. And she's telling me it's $6,000 to $7,000. And I'm like, wow, that's a huge waste of money. Yet that's not my love language, right? I don't speak vacation, right? I speak words of affirmation. I speak, you know, attaboy and pat on the back. Those are things that I speak to, and I like to work. Like I have my parents, I'm lucky enough to have a dad who instilled a very strong work ethic in me. If you guys saw me this weekend, somebody was making fun of me because you guys know I have a rental property, or some of you may not know that. And I mowed the lawn at my house, and then I went over and I mowed the lawn at the rental property. It's like, dude, just pay a landscaper to do that and just go back to selling real estate. Yet I take pride in doing some of those things. And so you have to figure out what you want out of this. And going as we're going to dive into this book right now about Profit First and what profit can do for you in your life, you guys really need to make sure that you're keeping it in check. That's why I go back to the 30-30-40. You guys are going to hear me reference that a lot, okay? Yes, we have bills, okay? There's a book out there by Steve Harvey called Jump. And so I'm gonna give him credit for this one. He says it don't matter if you make $50,000 a year or you make $50 million a year. You're still gonna have bills, right? And so as a result, you know, we need to make sure when we're making more money, we're spending more money, which is why we need to keep the percentages in check. And so, thanks, Max, Cape Cod, commented on Facebook over here. But let's just jump right into this. So those of you guys, I see a lot of people have jumped on right now. We're talking about the book Profit First, okay? And let's dive right in, okay? So one of the first things they talk about is he shares a little bit of a personal story about the piggy bank that changed his life. And it's really kind of just a preface for everything. I want to dive right into money problems. Okay, so when we're talking about money problems, what money problems do we have? What money problems? And I don't even like the word problems. Those of you guys who know me know I'm a very positive person. I always want to stay positive. So I want to call them money opportunities, okay? Because as we were talking yesterday on this, you know, the money that we have is just a note, right? It's just a loan from the federal government, essentially. Cash is just a form of debt. And so let's go ahead and let's look at what money opportunities do we have. Now, are there things that we can invest in? Sure, absolutely. Yet nothing good came from just, oh, I bought a stock or whatever. Yeah, people get lucky. Blind squirrel finds a nut. I get all that. Yet if we really want to build something that's going to be for the future, then nothing worthwhile ever came easy or ever came fast, okay? And so what do we want to do? Where do we want to take our business? What level do we want to take it to? So we've got to recognize the money opportunities. So when we're talking about money opportunities, and I go back to that 30-30-40, right? So our cost of living, right? If we're just talking about me as an individual in my household, what's my cost of living? What are my expenses? Cost of living can't really control. That's your 30% of your income. The other 30% of your income is going to be the expenses, and those are things that you can control. And then the 40% should be the profit. And the profit should sit there. It's not, hey, I had a great month. I made a lot of money, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and splurge, right? So, you know, we joke in real estate, or at least I do. I say, you know, real estate agents are, you know, they're eating Ruth Chris, and then, you know, for 2 nights, and then it's ramen noodles and PBR the rest of the week, right? So we need to figure out a balance in how around our money opportunities. So what can we control? Well, a lot of the expenses that we can control, right? And so I'm not telling you guys that, hey, cut out cable, right? Go ahead and save yourself $112 a month, $120 a month, whatever you're paying for it. If you like doing that, keep it, all right? Yet where are your money opportunities? As long as you're staying in the 30-30-40, and then that's fine. Yet now somebody's going to jump on and say, well, listen, PJ, my profit percentage is 50%. Look at how good I'm doing in my business. Wrong. If you're not spending enough money either, your future business or your future income is going to start to suffer. So it's really important to keep it in this balance and looking at the money opportunities you have. So what do you spend money on? Well, what are the extras that you find entertaining? So I'm going to use a quick example of purchasing a vehicle. All right. I know half of you guys want me to say car, so just say car and get it out of the way. Okay. So I want to go ahead and I want to buy a new vehicle. And so I'm looking at purchasing a Lexus and I'm looking at purchasing an Infiniti, and I'm comparing these two vehicles to one another. Now, if you guys know about cars, you know that a Lexus is exactly a Toyota. It's the same exact company. It's the same exact model, two different DBAs, yet the Lexus has some nicer features to it. And if you pop the hood, it's the same engine, okay? So what is it about the Lexus versus the Toyota that I want more? Maybe it's a sleeker style. Maybe it's a nicer interior. Same thing with Infiniti. Infiniti is just a nice Nissan. That's all it is. And they're the same in that sense. And so a lot of times when we're looking at that, it's, okay, I want to have that luxury. And if that does something for you, great. Don't do it because it's what other people want. Don't do it because that's what other people think you need to have or a status symbol. If you guys were on with me earlier today, you know, I was making the joke about real estate agents, how they used to just drive the big Cadillac around, right? They just put everybody in the back, and that was the thing. And listen, my grandfather, he had the Lincoln Town Car. He was a real estate agent on Cape Cod. That's what he did, okay? So what do you need in your life? What money opportunities do you need to have? And what money opportunities do you want to have? And I'm not saying that we need to cut corners and stuff. Listen, if you're really big into something, by all means, go ahead and do it, okay? I a couple of years ago was going to drop $2,000 on Super Bowl tickets because the Patriots were playing, and I wanted to go see the Patriots play in the Super Bowl, okay? And you know what? I didn't do it. I really wanted to, yet I remember my dad talking to me and being like, that's a stupid waste of money. It turned out to be the best Super Bowl ever, where they came back and beat the Atlanta Falcons. And yes, I'll probably never hear the end of that from my friends that I didn't go. Yet that was something that was entertaining to me. Now, I see a lot of you guys chiming in right here, right? And Deanna, how are you? And I know Deanna's probably like, who cares about football? I don't care about football at all. Yet it's what's important to me. And you guys need to be able to reward yourselves when you're having a good year, a good time, or if you have that extra disposable income. If you don't, then you don't. And you need to know to shut it off. That's the other half of money problems. Or again, money opportunities, knowing when to cut that off. So let's just go to the elephant in the room, right? Let's talk about COVID, right? Coronavirus, okay? Government's going ahead and putting out SBA loans, PPP programs that we can all jump on to help flourish and keep our businesses going. Yet, this is where you really see if you have a solid P&L in your business, because a lot of the people are saying, okay, I have to go ahead and lay off X amount of people, right? And a lot of companies are doing that. Yes, in real estate, but yeah, across the board, there's a lot of that going on. And so what do we need to do is we need to go ahead and watch our money and know where our money's going. So next topic that we're moving over to here, and if you guys are following, I see some more people jumping on. We're talking about profit first today, and we're moving over to page 18, bigger is not better. So Jenna, I see Jenna's on here. Jenna's my director of operations for my team. And Jenna will laugh at this because when we started to build a team, we put a couple of people on it. It really was kind of floundering a little bit, and it was all my fault, right? I said, okay, I put person in place, and I was like, go ahead, you guys got it, I'm out, right? Like, I'm gonna go do my business over here, and I wasn't instructing and helping them to grow a business. So Jen and I said, all right, this is what we're gonna do. We're just gonna hire up. See, in the real estate game, hiring more agents doesn't necessarily cost us any money. So when I sat down with my coach, Chip Walton, had a conversation, he said, what if you started looking at the people that you're hiring that you actually have to pay them a salary, right? So who are you guys hiring in your business? Or who are you guys hiring in your personal lives right now? And are you looking at them as a hire opposed to just an expense, or just opposed to as just money going out? And so the funny thing is, we went ahead, we did. We had 9 agents, I think, on the team at one point or another. And it was a train wreck. We figured we just kind of let the cream rise to the top, and that was going to be our strong team, and so on and so forth. And when it was all said and done, we decided to break it all back down. We kept one agent on the team, and then we started building it the right way. And so again, I'm referencing real estate, but for those of you guys on here that are not in real estate, just doing this in your personal world, right? Like, who are you hiring? Who are you taking on, right? So bigger is not always better. Bigger doesn't always mean more money. Again, go back to the 30-30-40, right? We've got to stay in those percentages if we're going to get bigger. And so first of all, what we have to do is we have to stop. You want to get bigger? What is bigger? Define to me what bigger looks like for you. So again, just in real estate, right? So bigger looks like, for me, last year, we did 71 transactions. So bigger to me looks like doing over 100 transactions this year. Okay, so how do we get to doing over 100 transactions? And then we need to break it down. And then we need to figure out if that's actually going to be profitable for us. So there's what's called check to check, panic to panic. Okay? And guys, it's okay. I bet you there's a lot of people on this right now that are living their life check to check. I've done it. Okay? I've been there. All right? And I get it. And it's a challenge. Yet, stick to the percentages around where you need to put your money. And then you've got your rainy day account, whatever you want to call it. So when you're living check to check, it's a little risky. And in times like right now with COVID, coronavirus, everything going on, yeah, it's probably really scary for a lot of people that have been doing that check to check game. So when we're looking at our business and moving our business forward, we want to make sure that we've got reserves. So what do reserves look like? So let's flip back from real estate to your personal life for a second. Okay, what are you guys keeping in the bank right now? Okay, are you even keeping anything in the bank? What I want you guys to do is go ahead, total up what your mortgage or your rent is. Go ahead, total up all your utilities. Throw groceries in there, gas for the vehicle. Just get your monthly expenses lined out. I want you to take that. I want you to multiply it by 3. Okay, now a lot of people you're going to hear right now saying, take that number and multiply it by 6. You don't need to multiply it by 6. A lot of the reason why they're telling you to go ahead and multiply by 6 right now is because they know if they tell you 6, at least you'll have 3. Okay? You really need to kind of keep 3 months of, oh, you know what fund, just in case anything goes awry, right? This way we're not going to be stuck in that living paycheck to paycheck. Okay? Now, and you use this reference. There's what's called the survival trap in here, and I really, really like this example that he uses in here. And it's talking about your point A is your crisis mode, and your point B is your vision. That's where you're going. This is where you're going to grow your business to, right? And so you take on an unfit project to cover this month's payroll or to cover the expenses in your personal life, however you guys want to look at it, okay? And so when we're doing that, we're not properly prepared. And so if we don't prepare for how we want to go ahead and run and move forward, then we're never going to be successful. The wheels are going to come off probably shortly into it. And so we've got to change the terms. We've got to figure out what we need to do to adapt to that. And now we're chasing the 8 ball because we didn't properly prepare. So what about doing the work yourself? I talked about when we first jumped on about going and mowing the lawn for myself. You know what? I used to pay a neighborhood kid to come by $20. He mowed my lawn for me. You know what? My rental's sitting vacant right now. Technically, I'm losing $1,500 a month of income. Okay, I don't mind sharing my numbers with you guys. All right. Now my profit of that is $534. Yet now I don't have that, and I still have to pay the mortgage on that property, even though I don't have a renter in there. Well, $20 really isn't going to save me a bunch of money. Yet in my mind, I'm going, okay, so it's a $1,500 loss. I can take the $534 off the top. Let's just call it $500. So I'm at $1,000 net loss right now because I'm not making any profit. So my net loss is $1,000. Okay, now my net loss is $980 because I'm saving on the landscaping, right? And so it's what can you do yourself, okay? Now, I'm not telling everybody you got to go mow your own lawn and everything. You've got to find out what's more beneficial to you. One of the biggest traps that people get caught in, and talking about this survival trap on 23, is let's just go back to real estate for a second. And I go ahead and I hire on an admin, or I go ahead and hire on a transaction coordinator, or somebody to help me with my business and take the paperwork off my plate. A lot of you guys, I see some personal friends jumping on. Hey, Judy, you know, a lot of you guys know I'm not an organized person. You know what? I have organized people in my life because I know where my strong suit is, And as a result, I make sure that I have that to help me move my business forward. Yet a lot of times the trap that we get stuck in is I hired somebody for that. I'm going to go golf. See you later, right? Or I'm going to go out on the lake for the day. And as a result, we end up losing out. If you guys were on this last week with Rob Talbot, who's talking to us about the 6 reasons that real estate agents fail in a shifting market. And, one of the things he said is they don't properly understand leverage. You don't understand that leverage is business. Well, you go ahead and hire stuff out. That's because it's giving you time back. Now, what should you be doing with that time? A percentage of it should be going towards your family. A percentage of it should be going towards just you. Like, get your me time in, okay? And this is one thing that I'm bad at as well, okay? I was having this conversation with a friend last night. I was like, I love being surrounded by people. I'm a social butterfly. Those of you guys know me, obviously, I never shut up, right? I talk all the time. I like being social. And so I need to remind myself that I need some of that alone time. So if I'm paying somebody to work for me, those are the 2 things. I'm going to go spend time with my son, or I'm going to go spend some alone time for myself to figure stuff out, okay? Yet that's not all of what I'm doing with my time. The rest of my time should be able to go ahead and double down on other activities, right? Because if the organization piece is taken off my plate, now I can go and do more lead generation, more prospecting. I can coach more people. I can have better, stronger conversations. I can, it doesn't have to just be like, oh, I'm going to go live in my personal world and now I can golf on Tuesdays. Okay. It's going to be, okay, this is how now I grow it bigger. Remember, bigger's not better, not necessarily, yet bigger is going to eventually bring in more income. And then you're going to watch that 30%, 40% stay the same, yet the dollar amounts that live in there are going to increase over time. The last thing I want to talk about today in reference to Profit First is traditional business accounting, okay? And again, you can use this in your personal life as well, is how much money are you bringing in? How much money are you making, right? Like if you're bringing in more money, you've got to kind of get more creative. One of the things that kills me is that real estate agents that come up to me and tell me, hey, this is the business that I'm doing, and at the end of the year, I go ahead and I pay an accountant $400 to go ahead and take care of my business. Why do you pay an accountant $400 at the end of the year? You want them to scramble and catch all the mistakes, and are they going to catch all the mistakes? And really, if you're only paying them $400, you think they're the top brass? You think those are the people that are going to be bringing the most value to you? I pay an accountant year round, and my accountant checks in with me monthly, just gives me a quick little, here's your P&L, these are red flags, boom, 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 whatever. And then quarterly, we have a conversation. We usually spend 30 minutes to 45 minutes on the phone talking about the adjustments we need to make, because as I'm looking at my 30, 30, 40, it's not in line. It's out of whack. Now, with a business, a little bit different than your personal world, when you're looking at a business, there's going to be some expenses that you have to pay up front, right? So like, for example, with my account, I pay $3,100 a year for my account, okay? And I don't pay him, X amount of dollars every single month. When I get to the point, I just do one inquiry, pay him the full amount, done. That's what I do, because I don't like having a lot of bills. I don't like debt. That's how my mind works, which is why this book works for me. We talked yesterday about doing the envelope game, right? Dave Ramsey does that, right? Pay your mortgage first. Once the mortgage is paid, then pay the next bill, then pay this, and then what's left over is savings. I don't like that. My mind doesn't work that way. My mind wants to know what's going to be in the savings at the end of the day. So it's every dollar that comes in, 30% goes here, 30% goes here, and 40% goes into my savings. And that's what it's there for. It's savings. If I'm having a bad month and I need to dip into it, I can go ahead and dip into it. Yet if I don't have it, it's not there. I can't do anything with it. So the traditional accounting is not working for business owners right now. It's a little bit different from what you're talking about with your personal accounting, okay? Yet for business owners, guys, you should be making payments quarterly, okay? You should not be doing what I used to do. Listen, guys, the only reason I know this stuff is because I screwed up so much, okay? This is how I used to do my accounting, okay? Tell me what I owe at the end of the year. Okay, great. And I would get my tax returns in as fast as possible in January. Once I got it, boom, I was putting it in. And they're like, okay, you owe $16,000. I was like, okay, so just for argument's sake, let's go ahead and say, my cost of living is $3,000 a month. So that's January, February, March, and April. Okay, so $3,000 a month, that's 12 grand. I need to pay $16,000. So I need to make $28,000. And I know there's going to be some taxes, or there's going to be maybe up or down one way or the other. I needed to sell $1 million in real estate to make 30 grand. And that was literally how I did the math. And I mean, I'm like, what an idiot I was. Like, that's not how I should be doing this. And so you've got to put yourself on a plan. Okay. And that's the most important thing that this book tells you. Yet we've got to think with the profit first. I talked earlier about Gary Keller and asking people, where their profit is in their business. He will not allow anyone to speak on stage with him since the beginning of 2019 unless he can review their P&L in their business. And it's not because he wants to know how much money you're making. He wants to know if you're actually profitable. Just because you can go sell a bunch of houses doesn't mean you're running a strong business. So guys, if you've got questions, throw them down at the bottom. Thank you for making fun of how long my hair is, Jennifer Farnsworth. I appreciate that. The profit first is, as he says in here, profit first is built for humans, okay? It's the way of thinking. Starting out, and you guys have heard this before from me, starting out with the end in mind, right? Like, what am I gonna make? So if you guys will do this with me really quickly, okay? So this is an exercise I do with a lot of my coaching clients. And so what I want you to do is I want you to take out a sheet of paper, okay? If you guys don't have a sheet of paper, don't worry about it. We can come back to this later. And I'm gonna show you. When you take out that sheet of paper, all right, what I want you to do is I want you to draw 2 lines, split it into thirds, okay? So go ahead and draw your 2 lines, boom. All right, just like that. Okay, can you guys see that? You guys see that? Okay. All right, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna write over on the left-hand side, we're gonna write 30, 60, 90, 6 months, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year. Okay, and this is accountability at a really high level. Okay. And so, hey, Tiff Diggs, I miss you too. All right. And then we're going to label these columns. Okay. So the first one I just want you to put at the top is a $sign. Okay. So right now, guys, on Facebook, that's what it's looking like right now. $sign at the top. Okay. Can everybody on Zoom see as well? All right. I don't know if I'm getting a glare. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. All right, so then $sign, or for my real estate people on here, GCI, right? Our gross commission income, the money that we're making and pulling in, okay? The next column, I want you to put biz, B-I-Z at the top, okay? Your business development, okay? Or if you're not running your own business, what are your goals? What is the managerial role that you want to move up to, right? And so business development in yourself. Lastly, I want you to put personal on here, okay? Now, in these columns, I can write, okay? Now, in these columns, this is how this works. This is a very, very simple yet high accountability tool. And so what I want you guys to do is I want you to take the goals that you guys want to have in life, and I want you to start in the personal column. I want you guys to start all the way over to the right. Okay. Now I know this is probably freaking out the high C OCD people because it's like, no, PJ, it's left to right. What are you doing? You're doing this all wrong. No, we're talking about profit first, right? We're talking about starting with the end in mind. So let's focus on that personal goal because we have a love or we have an attachment to it. And I want you to go ahead and put down personal goals that you would have 30, 60, 90 days from today, 6 months, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year. Now, this is the thing. You can't do this by yourself. Okay. So go pick a best friend, a spouse, significant other, whoever. Pick, guys, if you got kids, pick your kids because kids are the best accountability partners I've ever met in my life, okay? Because they will hold you to it. And I want you to go ahead and put down the personal goals. And those personal goals could be a team goal, a group goal that you guys want to have together, right? So go ahead and put that stuff down. And then that's going to tell you how much money you need to make. So we go from the third column, we jump all the way back to the first column. Okay, so I talked about the African safari earlier, right? $6,000 to $7,000. Well, you guys know me, I'm always going to bow and arrow effect up. So I'm going to say, okay, I need $8 grand. Okay, so if I'm going to do African safari in a year, I need to have $8,000 in GCI, and then I need to go ahead and add in my bills on top of that, my cost of living, things that I need to do, so that I can set aside that, because we're talking profit. We're not talking how much money is actually coming in. Okay, good. So I go ahead and do that. Now, how am I going to get to that number in my business? Well, as we were talking about 71 transactions in a year, what if I'm capped at that? What if without anything else in my life, I'm never going to do more than 71 transactions? I physically can't. I'm working myself to the bone, 12-hour days. I'm in the office. I'm working weekends. Okay, so this is where leverage comes into play. This is what I was talking about, or Rob was talking about last week on this message, right? So what is the business development that needs to happen so I can get to that dollar amount, so I can get to an African safari? So what does that look like? Well, is that hiring a transaction coordinator in your real estate business? Is that going ahead and putting an admin in place? Maybe that's going ahead and putting a buyer's agent if you want to grow a team. If you don't want to do, oh, PJ, I'm just an independent agent, I don't want to do that. Okay, great, that's fine. It doesn't make a difference to me. Yet, understand then, what do you need to do? You need to up your game, right? Hey, Billy Sugar, you need to up your game like Billy Sugar does, right? He goes in South Park, he sells those $1 million houses, right? So start fishing in a different pond, because that way you're going to make more money, okay? Now, the non-real estate people on this right now are going, well, wait a second, how does this apply to me? Well, it applies to you in how you're doing your personal life, right? And how you're working your personal business, and what does that look like, right? You want to go ahead and take your family on an African safari. Well, crap, I got 2 kids and a spouse, so now that number just went up by 4, right? So now I need to go ahead and ensure that I've got at least 40 grand just to cover everybody with some little extra on top, so I can go and have a good time. A lot of times we say we're going to go on a vacation, and we don't put a plan or an action in place. And then we go on vacation, and we're on vacation the whole time. We're stressed out about how much money we're spending. We're stressed out about this, that, and the other thing. Well, what if you just up the dollar amount so you could go and say, oh, look, I've got money left over at the end of vacation, right? What if you could say, yeah, we can go to Ruth Chris every single night for dinner. Okay, we don't even have to eat at home, all right? Go ahead and set yourself up for success, instead of just saying, I'm going to do that because I promised it and that's what I was going to do. Instead, let's go ahead and set it up from the get-go so you go the right way with it. So, guys, seriously, do something like this in your world if you guys want more information about how to set this up. And guys, seriously, get somebody to hold you accountable to it. If you have any questions about this, email me, pjkennedy@kw.com. Guys, I appreciate you being here. We're going to dive into chapter 2 tomorrow of Profit First and how to live a profitable life and run a profitable business. If you got any questions, throw them down at the bottom. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for being here. Make it a great Tuesday. Go get your unfair share out there, whether it's in business or life. And I'll talk to you guys soon. All right? Thanks.